Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service says no authorization was granted for a proposed Walk for Peace scheduled for Port of Spain yesterday. And of course, they made sure they went out in a large numbers, the police I'm talking about, and chased everyone home, spoke to them as though they were all little children. Go home, go home, go home, go home. Because you know, police love to have any opportunity in order to be able to abuse the authority and speak to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago as though they are all their children. Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations Suzette Martin. You all remember the case with Suzette Martin? All right. One law for us, another law for them, said the TTPS is aware of a flyer circulating, or was aware of a flyer circulating on social media prompting the event, which was scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. yesterday, and it did. And as I said before, they were all chased home by Kamla's, by Queen Kamla's rough men. My response, I remember when UNC supporters used to attend these types of walks and protests, but their blind loyalty to Queen Kamla matters more than standing up for justice and democracy here in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know what's their whole argument right now? You know what they're using to try to be able to justify what they're saying and doing now? They're saying that because the PNMites did not condemn dictatorship under Emperor Thanos Rowley, now no one's supposed to be condemning Kamla either. That makes any sense to any of you? Does that make sense to any of the UNC patriots outside there? So you are defending communism under Kamla just because the PNM supported it under Rowley? I don't understand the logic behind it. We all spent at least 5 years protesting against Rowley's terror, of reign of terror, ruling our nation with an iron fist. And now all of a sudden we're embracing those same types of policies, those same types of restrictions, that same type of treatment, the abuse of power by the police. All of a sudden a police state is welcomed. That makes sense, people. It shows how much of the hypocrisy within the UNC base at this point in time. That is what it shows. I am now convinced that UNC patriots are no different to PNM fanatics. A matter of fact, Yellows are showing themselves to be greater extremists than those in the Balize Club. As I said before, listen to this carefully, people. When Rowley was ruling our nation, PNM patriots still used to go out there and protest when there was an extrajudicial killing. They went out when it had the case with Mova. They went out when the woman was shot and killed during a protest on the Betham, I think it was. I think they went back out and protest against that as well. But I think she was the one shot and killed because the protests that took place that particular time was against some police killing as well. And that's what I was showing her. And she didn't even have a weapon on her or anything like that. And she went out to record the protest and ended up dying. A pregnant woman. I will never forget that. It was so sad. And I don't know if the police officer was ever held accountable for his actions, because here in TNT, police could get away with any crime. But I'm showing you all, under the Mighty Morphin Ghanaian coal pot bicycle, no ham, no macaroni pie, weaning off of the government, holding strain PNM patriots still used to go out and protest against police brutality and also extrajudicial killings. Meanwhile, the UNC patriots are now have their government now in office, my government now in office, well, no longer mine. I ain't voting for UNC ever again. But what I'm saying is, and the extrajudicial killings continue, and because the PNM patriots continue to protest against police brutality and extrajudicial killings, the same types of offenses, the UNC patriots are now saying, no, you are wrong for doing that, stand with the TTPS. But yet, while Rowley was in office, a lot of you, not all, because there are some UNC patriots that always worship police. No matter what, they worship police. Whether UNC or PNM in office, they still worship police. They're what you call police lovers. But there were many others that stood in solidarity with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago when they were protesting against the extrajudicial killings when PNM was in office. So who are the bigger hypocrites? only ones being controlled even more by tribalism and loyalty to party. It is very clear. It is very clear that the yellows are now the bigger extremists here in Trinidad and Tobago. On Tuesday, the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure partnered with Kuva, Tabakit, Talparo Regional Corporation to carry out spot patching works along Welcome Road, Canupia. The same patching that we as UNC people, or I was UNC. I voted UNC my entire life, so that's why I'm saying we UNC people. And I still support the UNC party as how it used to be in the past. I just will never vote for them again as long as Kamla's crew is in charge of that party. But you remember when everybody's been saying patch here, everything is a patch. Yeah, well, under the UNC, this patching, P&M patching policy continues. And patching doesn't last for long, people. You need to repave the roads properly. This roadway had become increasingly challenging for motorists to navigate. While Welcome Road does not fall under the ministry's road network, both agencies came together to improve the drivability and bring relief to the residents and users who rely on this route every day. Now, I'm not saying that it isn't better than nothing. It still is better than nothing. But I find a whole year later and you are still patching by. Instead of just paving the road properly. These targeted repairs help improve driving conditions and extend the life of the roadway, while longer-term solutions continue to be explored where necessary. Explored? My goodness, but I'm telling you, the UNC nowadays sound just like the fireball P&M.
Weather report for Trinidad and Tobago. Thursday, June 4, 2026. The weather forecast for Thursday, June 4, 2026 in Trinidad and Tobago indicates mostly cloudy, breezy, and occasionally wet conditions with standard temperatures reaching a high of 30 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius and dropping to a low of 24 degrees Celsius. According to the official data from the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, the day will feature a mix of occasional showers, slight Saharan haze, and isolated thunderstorms, particularly during the mid to late morning hours. Key weather metrics. Humidity will be very high, ranging between 70% to 95%. The heat index is expected to feel like 33 degrees Celsius during peak daytime hours. Winds will be breezy to windy, coming from the east to southeast at 10 to 45 km per hour, with higher gusts expected near heavier showers. A slight concentration of Saharan haze will persist, so sensitive individuals should consider taking precautions. Marine conditions. For mariners and beachgoers, the seas are forecast to be moderate. Waves will average up to 2.0 meters in open waters and up to 1.5 meters in sheltered areas, though waters can become temporarily choppy during thunderstorm activity. If you need help tracking this for outdoor events or marine travel, let me know so I can give you the exact times for the worst of the rain.
Regional news now. Barbados has a steady supply of hot peppers. I love hot peppers. Making it a rare exception during a severe regional shortage. While extreme weather and pests have hurt crops across the Caribbean, Bajan farming officials confirm their plants are healthy, pest-free, and ready for use. Dr. Claire Durant from the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation noted that local sauce makers facing shortages might just need to switch from their usual single suppliers. The agency is encouraging these businesses to contact them directly to connect with local farmers who have plenty of stock. This regional shortage gained global attention after severe storms like Hurricane Melissa damaged key pepper farms in places like Jamaica. This happened right as Caribbean hot sauce brands were expanding into major global markets, creating a massive supply issue. To keep local farms running smoothly during the dry season, the BADMC has bought extra seeds to hand out to farmers. This quick action helps ensure that Barbados can keep producing its famous hot sauce while the rest of the region struggles to recover. But do we have a pepper shortage here in Trinidad, though? Maybe in other regions in the Caribbean, but we were not affected by any storms. I know we are affected by flooding, though. Do we have a shortage of hot pepper in Trinidad and Tobago? Comment and let me know. International news now. The NBA finals are going back to Madison Square, and President Trump is expected to be in the building. Trump plans to attend Game 3 when the Knicks host the Spurs in New York, adding another layer of attention to the franchise's first finals appearance since 1999. The president has openly praised the Knicks' playoff run and said he was invited by owner James Dolan to attend the game. Now all eyes turn to the Garden as New York gets ready for one of the biggest basketball nights the city has seen in a generation. And you know, a lot of people, including the far left radicals, will be viewing just to be able to see Trump. The conservative side will be happy, and the radical left will be yelling to the sky. After a direct hit was reported from an Iranian UAV yesterday, Kuwait published footage from its civilian airport. And that footage showed the world what has happened to Iran since Trump extended a hand. In other words, he begged the terrorists for negotiations to continue. Trump is messing up the whole of the Middle East right now. They are shooting towards Kuwait because they know they won't be reckoned with. They know that Trump is not going to hold them accountable for the action, because all Trump is obsessed right now with is ensuring that there's peace in the Middle East. Telling you he has the spirit of the Antichrist upon him or in him. After all, that's all one Trump wants. That's all he cares about at this point in time. They threaten Israel that if it bombs in Daya, Iran will enter the war. Such equations did not exist before the war and after the war, but suddenly they do. That is what I'm telling you. He started a good job, and now he's totally messing it up, making things harder for Israel. That's how deterrence in that region is trampled on by the IRGC because of the unexplained rush for a deal by the U.S. president and his crew, like Witkoff have always said. Witkoff is a bad influence on President Trump. But Trump himself, you see, Trump loves himself. And Trump wants to be remembered as the peacemaker in the Middle East, not realizing what he is doing is causing more problems. It's better he had stayed out of this situation from the very beginning. Or finish the job, which is the right thing to do. Finish the job and get rid of the Ayatollah terrorist regime and the IRGC. Turkey ranks 124th out of 182 countries in the 2025 Corruption Perception Index with a score of 31 out of 100. According to the published data in 2012, Turkey was ranked 54th with a score of 49. In 13 years, it has dropped 70 places in the ranking. Yes, jihadist, anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist Turkey is one of the most corrupted countries in the entire world. A Hezbollah FPV drone struck a vehicle belonging to the chief of the IDF Northern Command, Major General Rafi Milo, during a visit to southern Lebanon last month, Khan News reported. Milo and another officer had exited the vehicle only minutes before the drone hit it directly while he was touring a village with commanders and troops. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. Just imagine if he had stayed a little longer in that car. He wouldn't have been here today. The incident has raised concerns with the IDF about the ongoing drone threat, particularly after a senior commander came so close to being targeted during a daylight visit inside of Lebanon. And of course, they would have been targeted by the Hezbollah terrorists. And yet, Trump continues to try to make peace, even with Hezbollah. I'm telling you, Trump is spiritually blinded by the Antichrist spirit.
Bible quote of the day. Colossians 1:12-17 NIV. And giving joyful thanks to the Father, who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of his holy people in the kingdom of light. For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. The Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.